African Media. Today on Impart Life, I'm joined by our very own Alex. He's going to share his story with us. Don't be caught up with the emotional part of the story. Please listen in and see what you can take, what you can glean from this story. Thank you. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I thank God.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So today you want to talk about your biological dad, right?
Yeah.
All right. So before we get so into the story, I would ask, why is it very important for you to share this story with us and with the world today?
Yeah, we recognize that so many people are going through the same. So many people are going through a lot of hurt, a lot of pain with what their parents might have done or might have not done. Some parents probably were there, but they ended up hurting their children. Some parents probably were not there in their lives and still the same. They ended up hurting them just for their presence not being there.
Okay.
So I recognize that it's something that is happening, especially in Africa, in our own country. I have friends who have gone through the same thing. I have connected with people that, have been estranged or separated with their parents for quite a while.
Yeah.
And, I believe it's a story that is able to encourage. It's a story that is able to speak to many.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, the most important thing is the encouragement.
The encouragement part of it.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we just don't live in this darkness of unforgiveness, this darkness of not moving forward in life and not even getting to know who your parent truly was or really was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get into the story, I would feel a bit better in terms of shedding light on, first of all, the man that raised you.
Yes.
And who he is. And then from there, we now go into your biological dad.
Yeah. So born Thika. Born in Thika School for the Blind. This is in Kenya. This is where my mom was a teacher.
Okay.
Blessed to have siblings.
Oh, okay.
I'm the fourth born, actually. I thank God for our mom, an amazing mom. She was a teacher there. By the time I was born, we were there. We were in Thika. We were in Thika School for the Blind. And I have a vivid memory of my dad until I was around 3 years old.
Okay.
And probably 3 or 4. Can't recollect that very clearly, but I remember I was very young.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really don't have that much memory of who he was when you were younger, right? Because he wasn't really present, right?
No, he was a shepherd there. Like he used to take care of the cattle. I remember that he was also going to school, something like that, as a teacher. That's how they met with my mom, I believe.
Okay.
So I have vivid memories of him as a young man.
Okay.
But never really got to know him.
Okay, so question. So is he the father of all your siblings?
No, he's not.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He's not the father of all our siblings.
Okay.
But since he left, lived for quite a long time before our stepdad came in. May he rest in peace. Now that's the dad that brought us to.
Oh, so he's passed on.
He's passed on.
Oh, okay.
When we got here in Toronto back in 2005, our stepdad passed away in 2006.
In
Actually, he flew back home and he passed. He passed there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to when you were younger. So you didn't really know your dad very well. At what point did your stepdad step into your life?
No, I believe it was around when I was in around class 4. Because at this time is when my mom comes to Canada as a student.
Oh.
So he comes in and a couple of years, maybe 2, 3 years down the road, my mom travels, comes to Canada. And so we are left with our stepdad.
Oh.
He was such a blessing.
Okay.
He did raise us well. He did a phenomenal job as a single dad. I would say he was, because when my mom is here, literally he's the one that is taking care of everything.
Yeah. And so he lived with you guys in Thika at the school for the blind.
at the school for the blind. So
With
we
your mom
lived,
absent.
yes, with
So
my
at this
mom
point,
absent.
he was a teacher?
He was not a teacher. He was working with the GM Construction. They are the one that constructed the Thika Highway,
Oh, I see. Okay.
super highway.
Okay.
My mom came to Canada under School for the Blind as a student.
Yeah.
So we still ought to have lived in School for the Blind.
Okay.
Because
so
she
they're
ca-
the ones that sponsored her to come here.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
She came here to further her education in children with special needs and such.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then this man raised you into the person you are now, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you now come to Canada.
Yeah.
right?
So
Without him.
yeah. So my mom comes to Canada when I'm around, when I'm in class 4. That's grade 4. I go all the way to high school. I finish high school, right? My stepdad comes to Canada when I'm just almost finishing high school in Form 4.
Okay.
So he comes to Canada. He joins my mom, and so we are left now with my elder brother, my sister, all the other siblings, and at this time we move to Mombasa.
Oh, okay.
Right? So we
So
move.
you and your siblings.
Yes. So this is a decision that mom makes. She makes a decision that she's gonna stay in Canada and she wants us to join her. So we can't stay any longer in Thika School for the Blind.
Yeah.
So we relocate to our eldest, my brother Peter, who was in Mombasa. So we go to Mombasa, and this is where we stay until we come to Canada.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am from Mombasa for those who don't know. Okay. So then, so you relocate here. I mean, you relocate to Mombasa, and your stepdad comes to Canada to
Yes.
join your mom.
Yes. So my stepdad comes first. A couple of, I think, 2 years later, my eldest brother comes, Dan.
Okay.
And then about 1 year later, now we join my brother, we join my mom and my stepdad with my younger sister and my younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, at what point in your life do you start thinking, I need to know my biological dad?
I wouldn't say that this ever came to mind. I think the way we are raised in Africa, it's totally different from the way people are raised here. And so it is what it is. It's the kind of life that we end up living in Africa.
Yeah.
So yes, that question lingers. That question is in the heart, but you're not able to confront your mom. You're not able to confront anybody and ask them about your biological dad.
Yeah.
You know, I saw how she struggled with us. My mom did an amazing job with us. I thank God for her.
Yeah.
So asking her that, I don't know how the wisdom of the fact that this is more hard for her than it is for me came about. Right? We would look at her and recognize, or I would look at her and recognize that she's doing all that she can do. And she was an amazing parent. And I wouldn't say that we didn't miss the father figure in our lives, but for the time that our stepdad was not there, for the time that our dad was not there, she literally was the father, she was the mother that we needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you moved here before you met your biological dad?
Yeah, when my biological dad left, I never got to see him again.
Well, you were a baby.
Yeah, I was a baby.
Really?
So we never got to see him again. And my stepdad comes in, and then we moved to Canada and literally leave Kenya, come to Canada without ever seeing him again. Yeah.
So then when do you start thinking, okay, seriously, I need to know this man?
I do believe that this did a lot of damage in my life.
His
absence,
moving.
yes,
Okay.
his absence, and then this other man comes in, amazing man, not perfect. I wouldn't say that he was perfect, but he comes in, and God uses him to be the father that we cried for, the father that we looked up to.
So he was a good stepdad.
He was a good stepdad. We loved him. He loved us.
Nice.
You couldn't even tell the difference. You couldn't tell that he was our stepdad. You know. I remember one day I told him, I love you. We were kind of arguing, and I told him, I love you like I love my dad, like you are my dad, and that really hurt him.
Oh.
It really, really hurt him. He asked me, "You love me like I'm your dad? Am I not your dad?" And that also triggered something. This is when he just moved in, and this triggered something in me as well. And I looked at him different since that point going forth. And I loved him. We all loved him. So we come to Canada. This is in 2006, and he moves back home. He was sick, bone cancer. So he moves back home. He knows that he has a couple of months to live, but he doesn't tell us. He goes to Kenya and passes away there.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
So all this now becomes even more tough, right? Now you're in a new country. Mom is working all the time. Can't blame her because she's got to take care of her children, right? And dad is gone. My biological dad, I don't know where he is. So this kind of just brings out a whole side of me. And I do believe personally that this is when I actually really started drinking, drink so heavily, not even knowing what was going on in my life,
Just to mask that
just to
pain.
mask all this pain,
Yeah.
everything that you're going through, everything that you see your mom going through, the struggles that you see her going through,
Yeah.
the question of, dad is gone, my stepdad is gone, my biological dad, I have no idea where he is. And
Or did you know who he was?
I didn't know, I knew who he was, I knew the name, but I didn't know, I knew exactly where he comes from, like from Meru,
Okay.
but I didn't know him, like having a relationship, talking to
Yeah.
him and that
So
kind
then
of stuff.
how did the journey start of you now finding out who he really is, where he is up to now, meeting him in person?
I thank God because after that pain, all that struggle that I went through, I never connected with him. I thank God for that. I thank God for the fact that when I was drinking, when I was that man, I never reconnected with him. I thank God for that. Because if he called, and according to my understanding, he kept on searching. Even when we came to Canada, he was looking for us. He just didn't know where we were. Back then, communications was very hard, right? You
Right.
send a letter and it would take months to get
Yeah.
to its destination.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that he was looking for us. Not able to find us. Apparently, later on, that's when he meets someone that knew my mom, and this person tells him that we came to Canada, and he gives this guy gives him my mom's contact, and then my mom now he contacts my mom, and then my mom now contacts me, telling me that, you know what, there's someone that really wants to talk to you. And so this is how we reconnect.
Okay.
But I thank God the fact that I reconnected with him when I knew the Lord,
Oh.
when I had surrendered my life to God. Because I think with the heart that I was feeling,
Yeah.
with the pain that was there, I don't think we would have spoken even 2 words if he called me when I was still, in
So
the
this is
world.
just because you were mad at him?
Yes, there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of anger, especially because of my younger sister and such. Like you can literally tell when a young girl needs her dad.
Right.
So I've seen my mom struggle with her. I've seen my sister really go through so much pain, and that father figure is not there. And I would blame him on all this. So every pain that my mom went through,
You
I
blamed.
blamed him. Everything that my sister was going through, I blamed him. Mine, I kind of, had this macho kind of an attitude that, I don't need him. I think
No,
my
he's not
sister
been
needs,
there.
yeah, he's not been there.
Yeah.
So my sister needs him more, or my mom needs him more.
Yeah.
And so if he called when I was still in the world, it would have been, ended up very bad. Yeah, I would have.
Okay, so that's why you're thankful that he didn't.
I'm thankful that he didn't call at that time.
Yeah.
I believe that God's time is always the best time. Yeah. So when he called, this is back in 2018, and at this time I just met Dee.
Okay.
We just married,
Okay.
and he calls.
Dee is Alex's wife.
Yes, Dee is my wife. And so my mom calls me and she's like, "Oh, there's someone that really wants to talk to you." I gave him your number. When he calls, you know, let me know. So I didn't know who it is. She never told me who it was. And I thank my mom for that. I thank my mom for reconnecting us. I thank her for saying it's okay. He's a grown man. He can, call him. You guys can
Okay.
talk. I
Okay.
thank her
So
for
she
that.
trusted you enough to let
Yes,
you handle it on your own.
to handle it on
Yeah.
my own.
Okay.
And funny thing is the fact that when he called, so I'm just chilling at home and I received this phone call and he's like, "Do you know who this is?" I'm like, it's like I recognize the voice.
Wow.
It's like I literally recognize the
But this is a
voice.
voice you've never heard
This is
before.
a voice that I had when I was very young.
Wow.
And so I tell him, yeah, I know who it is. And then he says, it's Mr. So and so. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
you also said you know who it is.
yes.
How come?
It's like I recognize the voice. But after I told him that, yes, I know who it is, he introduced himself. He said, it's so and so. It's your dad. He didn't say your dad, but he said it's Mr. So and so. I remember I was lying down on my couch just watching a movie and I sit up. And the first question is like, why are you calling? You know?
You asked him.
No, it's in my heart, it's in my mind. That's the first question I want to ask. But I love how God just turns things.
So, are you alone at this point?
I'm all by myself in the
Okay.
house.
Okay.
So I sit up and I'm like, I pray that you're well.
You say that to
Right?
him.
I say that to him. And he's like, yeah, God is good. And at this time, he's laughing. And he's laughing in such a way that I feel a man that is happy. Like just by us talking, I can feel that he's happy
To hear your voice.
to hear my voice. And so,
Or maybe to know that you're welcoming him.
yes.
You're not mad at him.
Actually, I wasn't welcoming him. I just said, I pray that you're well. And he just started laughing and he said, God is so good. God is so faithful. I'm glad that I was able to connect to you. I met so and so and he connected me. He gave me your mom's number. I called her and then she told me, yeah, this is your number.
So he's a Christian too.
He's a believer. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a believer.
Okay.
And so this makes things really easy for us, but yet not so much on the first day.
Yeah.
So he does most of the talking, and I'm like, okay, it's really good talking to you, and I don't know, we didn't talk for long. We end up disconnecting, and after we disconnect, I go to prayer and I ask for guidance. And I think this is where most of us go wrong. Sometimes someone will call you, and then because of the anger that you have, you don't talk, you don't ask for advice, you don't pray about it. So I pray about it, and I was led to go to a friend of mine, a pastor, a brother of mine. I went to him, and he told me, you need to be very careful. I told him the whole story.
Sorry, but so what made you think of praying at that point? Like, what did you want in terms of like, what were you looking for in prayer at that point?
You know, God directs, God guides. And so I don't know why I am praying, but I just know I need to pray. Right? Sometimes this is something overwhelming. This is someone that I've been carrying so much anger, so much pain, right? This is someone that I've, let's say, even hated, right? And so when they call and I'm calm and I'm talking to them, I'm like, that's not the reaction I was expecting to, that's not the reaction that I was expecting to bring towards him. And so I pray about it, and I'm led to talk to my pastor. So I contacted my pastor. I didn't even call my mom first. I called my pastor.
This is in Toronto.
This is in Toronto.
Okay.
And so my pastor prays with me as well, and then now that's when I call my mom. So I called my mom and I told her, so you gave my dad.
And you refer to him as your dad.
No, actually, I referred to him as with his name, right? So I referred to him with his name. I tell her, he called, but I'm still having this question, and I think you're the only one that can get that. Is why is he calling? This is advice that my pastor had told me not to call my mom, but you need to be very careful because this person might be dying. This person might be just wanting to reconnect. This person might just be wanting just to thousands of reasons why this person might be connecting
Yeah,
with you.
because you don't know why he chose to call
Yes.
you at that
So
time.
so be very careful. You don't just brush him off. Know why. Find out a way that you can connect and know why is it that he's calling. So praying about it, thought about it. After about 2 days, talking to my wife about it, that's when I feel we agreed with my wife. The only way that we can do this is talk to my mom about it.
So you agreed with your wife to talk to your mom?
Yes, that I need to send my mom to talk to him.
Okay.
So instead of my asking, why are you calling? It might seem disrespectful. It might seem, sort of arrogant. But if it's coming from my mom, would be better.
It's interesting that he still had respect in that aspect, even with all that hurt, even with all that pain, he still had that much respect in
Yeah.
terms of like, okay, mom, talk to him
Yeah.
for me or on my behalf and find out. Even though mom herself had trusted him enough to say, you handle it as the man that I raised. Wow, good for you.
So yeah, we are never too old to be guided. That's something I've
That's
learned
true.
from my mom.
Yeah.
She tells me you will never be too old for me to be your mom. So I always go to her when I've issues. So I went to my mom. We asked her, please just call him, find out why. Find out why. Find out if he's sick. Find out if he just wants to reconnect. And I pray. I pray that he just wants to reconnect. And then I called.
Which is really what you wanted.
That is what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what I actually wanted in my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
And then I called my father-in-law, who happens to be my friend. And he gives me advice. He tells me, regardless of who your parent is, and this is important, regardless who your parent is, whether your parent is a junkie, whether your parent is a murderer, whether your parent, whatever your parent is, he is your parent. And the blessings that your parents have, nobody else can give you those blessings. He gave me that advice and he told me, there's blessings that your father is carrying. There's blessings that your mom is carrying. So reconnect with your dad. Talk to him. Just hear him out. So my mom calls my dad and she calls me back. She told me he did give me the answer. I will tell you that it's towards what you expect, but I want you to be free and ask that or not.
So
And
she
I'm like,
again leaves it in your
and I'm like,
hands.
why? She's like, you are a child of God. So if you're a child of God, then you should discern and whether to ask these questions or not to ask these questions. And so he calls again, and we just start talking, and we are talking about everything, nothing, yet everything.
Describe that.
We are
What
talking
do you mean?
we are talking about his cows. We are talking of the fact that he has retired, and he had this school. He actually went ahead and opened a school.
Oh, wow.
He made a very big impact in Meru.
Oh, wow.
He would take homeless kids, he would take them in and he would educate them. And I start getting to know him. And this question of why did you call kind of just fades away. And we continue to connect. He tells me about brothers that I have, sisters that I have.
So he went ahead and remarried.
He went ahead and remarried. And he actually, even months ago, about 4 months, we are still talking. He's calling like every week.
Wow.
You know,
He really wanted to connect.
yeah, he's asking so much about me. He's asking so much about the other kids, especially my sister, who we share the same father. And so he wants to connect, and I go ahead and open up to him as well. The mistakes that I've made. Da, 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 da. I am married now, and he's so happy to hear that I'm married. All of a sudden, he asks, if it's okay for him to take a goat to where I got married.
Wow.
And I talked to
That's
my
a big deal,
yeah.
right?
I talked to my mom about it, and I'm like, if you want to do that, you have to talk to my mom about it because she's the one that took the goats that are already there. So he talks to my mom, and my mom says it's fine. If your son is okay with it, I'm okay with it. And so he goes there, and our friendship.
Just by himself.
Just no, he actually goes with his brother.
Wow.
And
okay.
he goes with his daughter, one of the daughters, and some friends. and he
So
goes.
this would be your half sister now, right?
Yes, yes,
Whom you've never met at this point.
yes, yeah. He
Wow.
passes through my mom's younger brother, picks up my uncle now, and goes with him as well.
Wow.
He
Okay.
even goes with my eldest brother. He calls my eldest brother and they go together.
Oh,
And so
interesting.
God is working all these things out. And all of a sudden, when he gets there, there's a friendship, there's a bond that is built between my dad and my wife's dad. And they become very good friends.
Instantly.
Just instantly.
Wow.
So that question is still lingering. Why did you call? But it's like, should I really ask that? I see what God is doing,
Yeah.
right?
So is
And
it
so,
that important?
yes,
Yeah.
sometimes we get stuck on that question. Why did you leave?
Yeah.
Why did I have to go through everything that I went through?
Yeah.
We just get stuck on that, and
Yeah. Where were you?
everything else that is ought to come to you doesn't come. Just because you're stuck on this hatred, this question that you should be asking, right? So little by little, this question fades away, and I've never asked it. I've never asked why he left. I've never asked what happened. I can tell he wants to explain, but that opportunity of talking about that is never there because there is always joy. Like everything is always replaced by something better than that. And we have gotten to know one another, and it's amazing. It's
Nice.
amazing.
So you still talk even up to now?
We talk even to now. Last year was able to go. We went for only for 2 weeks with my wife. That was one of the reasons I really wanted to go and meet him. Even as I met, like just knew where my wife came from. We had never gone with my wife since we got married.
Because the wedding happened here.
The wedding happened here.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to go and see where she comes from. And I thank God that they were able to come to that function. When we went home, he was able to come from Meru again just to meet up with us.
So at this function, this is where you're now meeting again for the first time.
We are
in
meeting now for
this-
the first time.
Wow.
I am meeting my half brother.
Yeah.
I'm meeting my half sisters, nieces. Right? It was just,
How many are they?
I have
So these are
five
like
sisters, yes,
half sisters, five.
5 of them,
Wow.
and 3 brothers.
Wow.
I'm the eldest, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's been quite a journey,
Yeah.
a journey that you recognize God's hand in. You recognize God doing something wonderful.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So are you proud that you met him? Are you proud? Like at this moment, what are you feeling when you meet him in person and there's all this wow going on, and everybody is happy. What about you? Like deep inside your heart, are you excited? Are you happy, or are you like, oh, I have to be on guard?
Humbled, humbled. I am so humbled by what God is doing. These are sisters, I'm telling you, they know I'm in Canada. These are sisters that have never asked me, and they started calling me. One of them was looking to get into school to go to be a teacher. We
Okay.
started praying. She got in. She's a teacher.
Oh, good.
The other one wanted to. She was getting married,
Yeah.
and they've been praying for a child. We pray, they get married, they have a child.
Wow.
So things just start happening, and they don't ask for money.
Nice.
They just they are checking out. They're
Yeah.
checking up on me, texting on WhatsApp. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Pray for me. I'm going to do ABCD.
Yeah.
A relationship that I didn't even know could be.
Yeah.
I met
So
this
it's your dad that introduces you to now
to all of them.
them.
Yes.
So at this moment at the party now, where everyone is meeting for the first time, how are they towards you?
So the day of the party was hard. It was very hard for me. It was really hard. Like how do we act? How do we start talking? It happened in my wife's home, like her home. I love the parents. They made things so easy for me. Like, they were there. They were very encouraging. My wife was there. She was really encouraging. And so they get there at around 6 in the morning because they started traveling very late at night from Meru. 6 hours. But by 6 in the morning, they were there because we wanted it to be a whole day event, right? So by 6 in the morning, they are there. And
The whole family.
the entire family.
Wow.
And he walks in and he just says, "Hey, my son, Monene." And he hugs me.
So he calls you by your
Yes.
your local name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we hug, and a hug that is really felt. You know, it can't replace all those years, but somehow it does. And we just start talking. My father-in-law steps in, and they start talking, you know. And it was an amazing, amazing day. So we have breakfast together, we pray, and actually my dad, my father-in-law is amazing. He says that I need to share the word. So I share the word with my dad and the family. So
So Alex is actually a pastor as well. Man
Yeah.
of God. For those who do not know that.
Yeah. So I share the word there, and he tells me he's very proud of me. You know, tells me, encourages me in the Lord, tells me that that's where you find peace, that's where you find everything. You know, so the first meeting was just amazing. The only place or where I would feel a little bit of tension was my brother, my half brother. There was a little bit of tension, especially from him. Uh, I think he didn't know how to handle it. And for some reason, I just go and call him and tell him, let's go for a walk. We go for a walk, and I tell him, you know, I have other brothers, and I thank God that I have them. I have other sisters, and I thank God that I have them. And then there is you, and I thank God for you. And just that changes everything. And he starts opening up, and we just start talking. He tells me, oh, there's other two brothers, but they're not here. They're working, da 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 da. Yeah.
Oh. So it was like a whole journey to healing.
It was a whole journey,
Yeah.
and God does an amazing work on each and every one of us. And we just see His hand, you know, healing. We see His hand just moving, even in the relationships.
Wow. So
So,
this happened in where's your wife's home?
Kawasukari.
Okay.
This is
Still
in
in Nairobi,
Kawasukari. Yes,
right?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
This is in
Wow.
Kawasukari.
That is interesting.
So after that, we come back. They go. Amazing. I remember he gave my wife an envelope, told her to have some tea on her way back to Canada, you know, and he acknowledges that I married well, that I married in a beautiful family, and that he loves them so much. So they travel. We had a couple of days left to come back to Canada. And so after we come back to Canada,
So did you see him again before you came back?
no, we didn't see
Oh,
them
that was
again.
it.
Yeah, this was because they live all the way in Meru. We were only there for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I decided to go back. When we get back, immediately we get back 2 weeks later, I pay my ticket, and I went back.
Fly back home.
I fly back home. He thanks God that I love the Lord. He thanks the Lord so much for that.
Yeah.
And he keeps on telling me that all the time. That it's amazing that you have stuck with the Lord, that you are walking with God. He keeps on reminding me that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So then, when it comes to guilt, for example, he is guilty probably because he left without a word, and he never turned back to say, "Hey, my sons, you know, my daughter, what's going on? I'm still around, whatever." So that guilt probably is still there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But how do you think he's working his way out of that?
I believe there is guilt. There is guilt in me for having so much hatred towards him, not trying to understand what actually caused everything, or probably what happened. You know, when two people come together in a relationship and it doesn't work and all that, sometimes we kind of judge them so much. But I don't know what happened between them. I don't know what really conspired.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, or looking at him right now, I see a man that loves. I see the love that he has for his children. I see the love that he's projecting towards me. As for his guilt, I believe that my words, my actions towards him, my thoughts towards him, you know, are also healing on his part.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, I was able to go and even visit with my grandma, who is 90 years old right now. And she was not feeling well. She was in the hospital and all that. We prayed. She has not gone back to the hospital.
Wow.
All the stress that she had kind of just gone away. So I believe when we are there for the people that we love, despite of what it is that they have done towards us, I believe with maturity, with all wisdom, let's approach them with all dignity, with humanity, and be able to just give God even that chance to heal. You know, sometimes God wants to do something in our lives, but we just don't give him the chance to do it. As we are giving these people a chance to be who they ought to have been or who they are in our lives, we are also giving God a chance for him to work on each and every one of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's how it's unraveling. You never know how your story will end.
Yeah,
So
very
whatever
true.
is happening in between, you don't know. Especially when it comes to parents and their choices or even their mistakes. We can't really judge them so harshly because we weren't there
Yes.
when those mistakes, if any, were made or whatever transpired. But where we are, we should thank God. I keep thinking about that verse now, just now. It's come to me. As a man thinketh in his heart,
Yes.
so is he.
So is he.
So I believe that your thoughts towards your dad are good.
They're good.
Yeah, they're you know, like in the Bible it says like whatever things are good, whatever things are prosperous, think about these things.
Think about
right?
that kind of
So
things, yes.
I believe because this is what he is seeing, and his spirit is feeding off of his spirit out of these things.
Yeah.
This is why it's easy to deal with these things. This is why it's easy for him to even pick up the phone and call you after all these years and say hello, my son.
The
not
more
even anything else.
and the more we are talking, the more we are connecting, the easier it gets, right? The more he's reaching out, the more I'm reaching out, the more I'm talking to my brothers and sisters, the more easy it gets.
Right.
It has gotten to a point that I'm telling my sister I love you, and they're telling me I love you too. You know, and it's amazing. It's gotten to a point that I'm telling my dad, God bless you, and I love you, and he's saying I love you too, God bless you. So if you just want to deny yourself all these good things that God has given freely, it's up to you. It's up to you. But I do believe that there are blessings that he is carrying. I am recognizing them today, right? There are lessons to be learned, even in the whole experience. Yes, we have learned them. Let's move forward.
Right.
Let's not just stay in that place of, you know, he did this, you did this, and all that kind of stuff. Let's just move forward.
I think it's good to have that happy ending, you know, like at least he's still here.
Yeah.
You're still talking. You know, there's that friendship, the relationship is still, you know, it's building, it's getting stronger and stronger.
Yes.
Now, for the people that maybe have the same kind of story,
Yes.
but the ending is not that bright or that good, how would you encourage them?
The Lord works all things for good for those that love him and those that have been called according to his purposes. So whatever it is that has been done to you, whatever it is that you have faced, be encouraged in the Lord. Recognize that he is working all things for your good. Give God a chance. Give that relationship a chance. Give these people a chance. That hatred that you have in you is not of God. That fear that you have is not of God, right? Turn to the Lord for answers. You know, there are men and women of God that are able to talk to you, to guide you. Let us love our parents despite it all. Let us respect them.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that story. We hope you've been able to glean at least a point or two out of it. If you have any questions, please drop a comment below and we will get back to you with answers. Thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful day.
God bless you. Bye.
Bye.